Hello and welcome to SuperConnectivity, Marvel all new, all different free preview edition. Ooh! For those who were unaware, this Wednesday we got we've got our little preview book showing us just the covers for what is coming after Secret Wars, and oh, am I excited! I am so excited. We actually do get a very, very, very tiny program of pepper pots.
Yes, Iron Man number 1.
I'm sorry?
Invincible Iron Man number 1.
Yeah, the interior art that we're giving.
Yeah.
It's not quite clear who he's talking to. That could also be a hologram of pepper pots. We don't know. We don't have letters. Those unlettered previews, always difficult. But let's talk about some of the things we do see. One thing that is this big question, because we have a couple of characters who we know who they are coming back. But we don't quite know, because they said that Battleworld is still going to exist. But that makes me wonder, we see that old Man Logan, he's coming out in Extraordinary X-Men. He's got his own book. And it does look like he's going to be on a proper Marvel Universe world here. You see him on the cover of his book. He's got a little team up there with Ultimate Spider-Man, who we know is on the 616. So, looking forward to seeing old Man Logan walking around his past, although not his past, but a past that is no doubt going to be making him something of a man out of time, as if he wasn't already. But I don't know how that is going to compare with, say, A-Force, which these are all Marvel heroes, but they're continuing on. Are these the A-Force versions of these heroes? So that Captain Marvel that we see there, because we also see that Captain Marvel's got her own book, and she's in several other books. Is she going to be the A-Force Captain Marvel? Are we going to have multiple heroes? Are we going to have multiple Captain Marvels? I don't know. Because we also see that she's a part of the new Ultimates, which looks like it's, so we've got America Chavez, Blue Marvel, Photon, Captain Marvel, two Captain Marvels, Black Panther, and Galactus. And hey, now here's a question for you. Look at Galactus's left eye there. Does that look like the Phoenix Force, or does that look like Longshot's Luck Force?
I don't know. That could be.
Yeah, it could be but I'm just looking and saying, wait, is that supposed to be the Phoenix's wings? Do Phoenix and Galactus merge? Will that be awesome? Will that be horrible?
So, is this Galactus's team then?
I mean, wait, he's holding them in his hand. There's a universe in which Franklin becomes Galactus. That's that was in the World X, where everyone becomes a mutant or something along those lines. And at the end of it, Franklin Richards puts on Galactus's helmet and becomes Galactus. So I don't know, maybe we're going to get a lot with Franklin Richards in this. I don't know. Here on the page next to it, also interesting, we have, and this is one of the things where we don't quite know what our heroes are going to be next season. We have Avengers Idea Mechanics, Sunspot, who owns AIM and his own Avengers franchise now. Apparently, he brings in Hulkling, and I'm guessing that's Wiccan, getting all emoed out there and super buff. Way to go, Wiccan! Been working out. Assuming that's Wiccan and that's not some other character that I don't know who it is. We've got Songbird from the Thunderbolts. We also got a Hawkeye. Now, I don't know if that's our 616 Hawkeye or Ultimate Hawkeye, but in Hawkeye's own book, it looks like we've got like Old Man Hawkeye along with Kate Bishop. So that's interesting. I don't quite know what to make of that. It's it's a lot of questions. And the redhead on New Avengers, is that Squirrel Girl or is that someone else? Do you know who that is?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't see a tail, so I'm guessing it's not Squirrel Girl, but she's precocious-looking redhead with green eyes and a brown outfit. So that screams Squirrel Girl to me, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. We have, and of course, we see that we've got the Uncanny Avengers, who are split from the all-new Avengers because we know that Cap and Steve Rogers have a big falling out. I'm interested in all these different Avengers books. Having Brother Voodoo and Steve Rogers, Brother Voodoo and Deadpool on one team. How can that not go well?
Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Spider-Man and Deadpool. Yeah, those two will have a lot of fun. It'll be fun to see, Spider-Man be the serious one. Now, I do wonder if that's Johnny Storm, Human Torch, or if that's Jim Hammond. I got to think that's Jim Hammond, Human Torch there, just because we already have Human Torch over on the Uncanny Inhumans. So, it could be both Human Torches, but since you do have 2 Human Torches and 2 Spider-Mans now, you might as well spread them out. So we got one Spider-Man on the Uncanny Avengers, and then the other Spider-Man in the all-new, different Avengers. And then there's also A-Force and the Ultimates. And one of the things I'm intrigued in, because I do love villain books, is the return of the Illuminati as a force of evil. And it's hard to figure out exactly who you have here. It looks like we've got, obviously, the Hood and Crusher Krell. And then on Crusher Krell's shoulder, that looks like that could be the Ghost, or behind him. Another Thunderbolt. Very, very, very cool character. The Ghost, the anti-corporatist, a hero for a new age. We have the return of the Contest of Champions, this time with Maestro in charge of it, wearing some sort of armor and wielding Cap's shield. That should be interesting. What do you think of the return of the Spider-Mobile, Phil?
I just don't know if they're taking like a page from DC, like when they did Batman Incorporated, and they had 2 Batmen. Bruce Wayne was like international, and Dick Grayson was Batman in Gotham. So now we have Peter Parker, Spider-Man, the Globetrotter, and then we have Miles Morales, I guess, is going to be New York Spider-Man?
I don't know. Well, Parker Industries, yeah, and I just noticed that, Parker Industries, he's got his whole Japanese section. And now, is that Mary Jane on his arm there when he's in his tux?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, but do you know who I don't see? Ms. Marconi. That makes me sad. I want to see Marconi get back here. Where's Marconi? Where's my Marconi?
He has 2 women on his arm.
I'm sorry?
He has 2 women on his arm.
Well, yeah, but the other one's Asian and probably not a little person. She's shorter than Peter Parker, and Peter Parker is not that tall, but she's not. She's not Marconi level short. Carnage is apparently now a ride at Disneyland. Spider-Woman is pregnant. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. And Spider-Man #1 in the 616. Parker Industries, the future is now. Now that's interesting with Parker Industries, the future is now. Especially as we see the headline in the Daily Bugle is Tony Stark, yesterday's futurist. So is in the world we're coming into, is Peter Parker finally going to get his due? Finally going to be the successful scientist Peter Parker that he always wanted to be? Or is the Parker luck going to return?
Well, I saw a summary for Amazing Spider-Man, and they were describing him. They're like, imagine Tony Stark without all the drinking and all that stuff.
Yes. Well, I've always said Peter Parker. I remember during the, World War, World War Hulk's, the smartest one there is line, and it was talking who were the 7 smartest men, and I kept on saying, Peter Parker probably is a Reed Richards level intelligence. He just never had the opportunity to develop it the way that Reed did, or the way that Tony did. That, Peter Parker probably is a scientific genius, on the same level as these guys, but, he was a kid from Queens who was orphaned, who was being raised, in this, lower middle class, kind of, house in Queens, and, never really got these opportunities. And especially because he gained his superpowers so young, that's the thing you always think about with Reed Richards and Tony Stark. They were already established scientists by the time they had their lives turned upside down by superheroism. Peter Parker, he's just a teenage kid when all of a sudden, I've got to go fight Doc Ock and I've got to go fight the Green Goblin, and I don't have the opportunity to just, go to school. He never got his doctorate, to Otto Octavius's utter humiliation. That Peter Parker is just some dropout of all things. That's the body he's stuck in. Oh my goodness. And also, one thing that's making me sad is I don't see any return of Otto. Where's my Otto? Come on, where's my Marconi? Where's my Otto? Marvel, don't make me sad. I need these guys back. I need Otto back, and I need Marconi back, because those two crazy kids need to make it work out. That's all I'm saying. Interesting. We have the return of the Space Knights. In this case, Venom Space Knight. What do you think of that? We know they can't use ROM, but as has been said, the Space Knights are theirs to use. They can use the Space Knights. They can use the history of the Space Knights. I wonder if this is going to tie into that Space Knight universe and how Venom winds up as a Space Knight.
Maybe, because I guess he's full time on the Guardians of the Galaxy now, so he's just planet hopping.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and there's our Ben Grimm too. Ben Grimm is now a member of the Guardians, and Rocket's in charge, they say. Peter Quill has moved on, and Rocket is in charge with Ben Grimm, running the Guardians, protecting the galaxy at all costs. We see that Jane Foster is still Thor, which we knew that it was still female Thor, and that she still has cancer. And, I did make a comment about that last time when we got the big reveal, which is that, the problem with my powers are killing me stories is that you eventually have to die already. If my power is killing me, you've got to get to that resolution, or you've got to fix the problem. And, I don't want to have the story just be this dragged out story of, I'm dying, still dying when she's Thor. And maybe that is their plan, that they're going to run her for a year, have her die, and then Thor's going to pick up Odin's son's going to pick up the hammer again. But I'd hate to have that be. I mean, I guess that maybe makes sense. Maybe that's kind of the point of it. Sort of like when Captain Marvel died of cancer. It's like, what? There are things heroes can't fix, and there are things that can't be cured. And, for all the advances that we found in this universe, and for all the miracles that we pull out of our tuchuses when we need them, sometimes people are going to die. And so maybe that is what it's going to be, is the mighty Thor is going to die at the end of a run. But, if we go for like 3 or 4 years with her dying, it's going to get old already. So I think either that's going to be I think we're going to have we're going to have Thor, Jane Foster's Thor, for like a year, or they're going to cure her. Although if they cure her, I don't know. It's a little. I guess in that sense, it's a little disappointing if they cure her then, because it's like, well, yeah, good thing we have magic. It's like, yeah, but and then that kind of takes away from, what was the power of the storyline, that she is sacrificing herself, that there are things that heroes can't fix. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Here's what I'll say: I don't know what it's going to be, but it has me interested. It has me interested. I want to read it. I want to see where it goes. We have a new Squadron Supreme in an ongoing. And what I like about this is that it's not just the Squadron Supreme. It has Hyperion, but we also see Thundra, and we see Dr. Spectrum from the Great Society, which was the group of superheroes who were defeated by the Illuminati when Doctor Strange conjured up a Cthulhu-like being to destroy that planet. And so Thundra and her are both from a different universe. It looks like we have Nighthawk or some variation on Nighthawk. So it's interesting to have all of these sort of refugee heroes on this world. The sole survivors of their own worlds. They'll do anything to protect this one. I wonder if they're going to have any kind of run-ins with Miles Morales, and I wonder what Miles Morales' world is going to be, because it is interesting to ask the question: are we going to have a merging of what's left of the 616 and the 1610? Is Miles going to be a guy who doesn't have a world, or is he going to have some of his supporting cast there? We don't know. It makes for a really sad story if he has no supporting cast, if he's just a Spider-Man set adrift. That would be sad. Howard the Duck gets another number one. Yes, again. Which, is kind of sad in the sense that we just had a number one and now we have to go back to a number one because we're only at like issue 6, I think. It's like,
well, it's the same thing with Hawkeye. They're like on 3 or 4, and now they're gonna reboot it again.
Oh, so Hawkeye had another number one? It's like,
oh yeah, he had that one series. Remember, the last issue that still wasn't out, but then they rebooted it.
Oh yeah, and now here we have the big mystery, which is the totally awesome Hulk. Our new Hulk, as controversial and as different and as strange as the as the Lady Thor and the Black Captain America, they said. So, who is our new Hulk? He has it looks like it might be a mohawk, although maybe that's not a mohawk. Maybe he just has his hair kind of spiked up there. We don't see his, so what they blacked out are his left hand and his face. Why are they blacking out his left hand? What could he be holding that's going to be the evidence here? He's also wearing purple short shorts with a gold belt. So
ready to have your mind blown?
Yes.
I'm sure I'm wrong, but what if it's Iron Fist?
How would Iron Fist become the Hulk?
I don't know.
Yes.
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, yes. Well, I was actually wondering, is it maybe Hulkling? We do see Hulkling in the back of the new Avengers. So, I mean, if we don't get a Hulk, maybe the totally awesome Hulk is Hulk. Now, he's wearing a different uniform. So that kind of works against it.
And what's with the arm?
Yeah, what's with the arm? Well, that's the thing.
What if it's Bucky?
Bucky? Well, he wouldn't have the back part of his arm then. That is interesting. What is with the arm? And you see the blacked out face, but you don't see the blacked out arm. And like, what is going to be the controversial thing? I mean, honestly, looking at the short shorts, I do wonder if it's going to be a gay Hulk, which is not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like I'm looking at it and I'm wondering what it's going to be. And I guess to me, it's kind of weird not to have Bruce Banner as the Hulk, although maybe it is the Hulk. Maybe it is Bruce Banner as the Hulk. Oh, you know who it might be? What if Doc Samson is the new Hulk? What if they bring back Doc Samson to be the Hulk? And they fully Hulk him out?
But again, what's with the arm?
Yeah, that's the question. I don't know. What?
I mean, they blacked out the whole head, so it has to be somebody we know.
Yeah, and the arm, that is weird. Yes, and on the page opposite, we see Allies No More, Captain America and Sam Wilson, or Captain America and Steve Rogers. Allies No More. And you see them at when they were both young and handsome, and now they're just sad and bitter. And we see that it's still old Captain America, so it's not like, oh, I want to be Captain America again. And Sam's like, no, I'm Captain America now. Go get bent. Although I will say they are still drawing Cap, with muscles, and it's like without the super soldier serum, why does he have muscles? So maybe the super soldier serum is back, but he's still older. So it's like he's like old, but he's strong and tough, like old man Logan style.
Maybe it's coming back a little at a time.
Yeah, well, and maybe that's his thing. It's like, well, I've got my strength back. I want to be Cap, and it's like, you know what, Cap? No, I'm Cap now. And although that seems like a petty thing to have a falling out over,
I was thinking maybe during Secret Wars, during the end, or right after, Steve's like, he doesn't trust Tony Stark and the Illuminati. And Sam was like, well, I can see why they did what they had to do. And
yeah, but again, that seems like a really petty thing to have this decades-long friendship break up over,
Yeah, but
I mean, but then again, so was maybe arguably superhero registration. So maybe they do break up because of superhero registration or something like that, or maybe it's who knows, maybe it's maybe they're back to the Registration Act's still in place, and we do got to sort of sort this out, or maybe it's just that what Sam is like, there's too many dang secrets. Or maybe it has something to do with Ian disappearing. Although, I'll say this, in the all-new Daredevil, there's a shadowy figure with a stick who kind of looks like Ian, kind of looks like Nomad.
I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, he's sort of, you could also, maybe that's Ronin. Maybe there's a new...
Gambit.
Oh, or, who that kind of looks like, now that I look at it again? That could be Gambit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got the hair all wispy like Gambit does, because he's all sexy like that. Oh, and the new, I guess that's Peter Quill's sister in the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
Or, I mean, the hair looks too blonde, but it could be Kitty Pryde.
Oh, could be Kitty Pryde, yeah. Yeah.
Because they are engaged.
They are engaged, yeah. And Quill is back in I guess, the space program. So... we got the Nova's father-son. That looks like fun. All new Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. We get to see Teen Abomination back, so that's fun. We've got zombie Jasper Sitwell. Now, I'm wondering, is that LMD Dum Dum Dugan, or is that just classic old-school Dum Dum Dugan?
I don't know.
We'll have to see.
The Man-Thing.
Yeah. Oh, Man-Thing, Hit Monkey. That might be Elsa Bloodstone. I'm not quite sure. The blonde.
Werewolf by Night.
I want to say that's Goom, or it's some space monster. That big, rocky-looking guy. He's an old school 50s monster, I think.
You know what I'm surprised you didn't mention?
What?
Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, Ant-Man, or once a villain. You know why? Everyone's like, is he going back to villainy? I'm like, no.
You think this is going to be like our new like Thunderbolts type book?
Yeah, I think that's what this is. And as someone pointed out, he's got his fingers crossed. So maybe he's teaming with villains, but he's teaming with villains to learn something and maybe bring it down. But we've got some interesting villains here. We've got Porcupine, we've got Whirlwind, and I believe that's the Beetle. Actually, no, because she has gossamer wings, so maybe, I don't know who that's supposed to be. She sort of looks like an alternate universe Hope Van Dyne, who was the Red Queen in the MC2 universe, who was sort of a villain version of the Wasp character. She was, although integrating Hope Van Dyne into the storyline might be interesting, especially if you're bringing people in from alternate universes. Since Hope Van Dyne is in our Ant-Man movie, and they do say that, I guess, the Wasp was a character in the Hank Pym MCU universe. There's been some suggestion that Janet Van Dyne had adventures with Hank Pym.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah.
Did you hear the whole story on that?
No, I haven't yet actually.
They were saying, I think, well, I heard Kevin Smith saying this, but I guess we're going to see in flashbacks. I guess Janet Van Dyne was the Wasp with Hank Pym, and I guess there's a way to bring her back, maybe, because I guess she gets lost in the microverse.
The microverse. Yes, they did suggest that Scott Lang goes into the microverse or they said that he goes into this thing that's going to open the door for Doctor Strange. And excuse me. So yeah, the microverse definitely is in there, and but actually, what you also had, which is interesting, which also could tie into Doctor Strange, is that there's actually a macroverse that Hank Pym recently discovered, which was when he gets declared the Scientist Supreme of Earth. He found that there's like another dimension that if you grow, you're going to pop into this other dimension. In a similar quantum effect, and there he met Eternity and had a whole conversation with Eternity. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how they deal with. I'm actually, that'll be interesting if we get that little cosmic nod. And to me, actually, you know what? And I've said, I want to see Spider-Man in the Ant-Man. If we get a Doctor Strange tie-in, that could be just as cool. And you know what? And actually, like I said, let's do both. Let's have Richard and Mary Parker on the adventure where the Wasp disappears, and that's what leads to Hank to hang up his gear and say superheroing. It's too much trouble, and that poor Mary and Richard Parker, they died too, and they had a little kid at home. I would love to see that. But I'm actually very fascinated by who that is, because at first I thought it was the female Beetle, but she doesn't. But she, like I said, she has gossamer wings, and it makes me wonder: is this going to be from maybe the MC2 universe? Maybe she gets pulled into this universe and decides to build out her own army of heroes, and is maybe because one of her motivations was she didn't like the fact in the MC2 universe that they had reformed the Avengers after her parents went missing. After Hank Pym and the Wasp went missing. When they went to a world ruled by Doctor Doom in an alternate universe. And so she could be a little upset at someone else wearing the Ant-Man costume there. And we don't know. We're going to have to wait, because that's definitely going to be on the pull list. And speaking of heroes, now villains, Silk is apparently evil. So, sure. The Sinister Silk. I'll go along with it.
Spider-Man 2099, I guess, is back in 2099.
Spider-Woman is... Oh, Spider-Man 2099 is back in 2099. I hope so. Possibly. It'll be interesting if it is.
It looks like it from the background.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it would be interesting if that's where we get. Okay. Sorry, just texts about stuff from people. Web Warriors are back, which means we get an active Spider-Ham story. That'll be fun with Spider-Gwen.
Maybe that's where Otto will pop up.
Yeah, maybe. I would love to see it, man. Now, is Spider-Gwen back in her own universe? Because that's sort of what it looks like there.
I think that's what they said they were going to do.
So we're going to have this side universe of Gwen Stacy and...
Earth 65, I think. I think that's what they said it was.
Yeah. Just interesting. I just noticed that they have this sort of... there's a little runner on the bottom going around. Kind of reminds me of the 25th anniversary Marvel books. Had all the heroes around it, but looks like you've got like Captain America and Spider-Woman, etc. on the bottoms. But yeah, and I'm wondering who that lizard is, because it says "Stop the Spider-Woman 1554 Peter." And did Peter become the lizard? I don't know.
I think he died.
Well,
instead of
the world
Peter
thinks that he's dead.
So
he can learn to control the raging beast that dwells within him. Dun, 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 dun. Yes.
Jack McGee's after him.
That darn Bugle reporter Jack McGee. He knows there's something. And Deadpool not dead anymore. Yay, Deadpool. He's alive and signing babies. Yes, I talk forever. Deadpool #1. Some Canadians are okay. Dumbwater, you're dumb. That's going to be a fun book. I'm looking forward to seeing Deadpool back with us, out and about and having an adventure. Okay, well, I think that's all the connections for this week, kids. Tune in to the all new, all different Marvel Roundup earlier in the week, so because that gets released before this one, but that's okay. You can also tune into it next week to hear more of our thoughts on the comics we've read. And I hope you've enjoyed our preview of the comics we will be reading. And I hope you connect with us again next week. In the meantime, you can always write to me at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter @CharlieEsser. And generally speaking, talk to us about crazy, strange things in the Marvel Universe, the comics, the cartoons, the movies, whatever you want to discuss. If you want to talk about your theory that ties the superhero squad to the Agents of Smash universe, feel free, because I will listen to that and I will probably wind up agreeing with you. Phil, where can they talk to you about crazy things that connect?
They can email me, nightwingpdp@aol.com, not AOL, gmail.com, and on Twitter I'm @nightwingpdp.
Okay. And yes, so sorry. Okay, so yes, so connect with us again, ladies and gentlemen, because there's always more connections to be had here and on Battleworld and in the world to come. Great talking to you, Phil. Have a great week.
You too.